I never should have watched it. And if you're hearing this now, it's already too late for you too. That's not me being dramatic. It's just the truth. There are things online that were never meant to exist. Threads that vanish before you can even refresh the page. Whispers about lost files that no one ever admits to keeping. For years, people laughed off the rumors about a so-called banned Pokémon episode. They said it was just another internet myth, like the haunted Majora's Mask cartridge or the Russian sleep experiment. A campfire story for the digital age. But the thing about campfire stories? Some of them come from real fires. I grew up on Pokémon. Saturday mornings glued to the TV, trading cards at school, humming that catchy theme song until my parents begged me to stop. It was harmless, colorful, comforting. That's why the whispers about an episode 0 never made sense. Why would something so innocent have a secret so dark it had to be buried? Still, every forum I stumbled into had one or two people claiming they saw it. They always said the same thing: don't look for it. I wish I had listened, because I did find it. And once you've seen what I saw, the memory clings to you like smoke. You can't scrub it away. But let me explain how I found the episode, and why no one who's seen it has ever been the same. It started the way most mistakes do, late at night, when the mind is tired but curiosity is wide awake. I was scrolling through an old Pokémon fan forum, one of those outdated message boards that looks like it hasn't been touched since the early 2000s. Most of the threads were harmless. Debates about favorite gym leaders, speculation on hidden Easter eggs, arguments over whether missing no was intentional. But then I saw it. A post buried 3 pages deep, written in shaky grammar as if the author had typed it in a rush. Episode 0 download link. Watch at your own risk. The replies should have been full of jokes or disbelief, but instead, they were empty. The few usernames I did see had their profiles marked inactive. Others had been wiped completely, replaced with a blank silhouette where their avatars used to be. It didn't look like normal moderation. It looked like they had been erased. My pulse quickened as I hovered over the link. Everything about it screamed danger. No preview, no description, just a dead blue hyperlink that seemed to hum in my mind like static. A sane person would have closed the tab. I almost did. But that same nostalgic voice in my head whispered, what if it's real? What if you're about to see something no one else has? I clicked. The screen blinked black, then glitched, colors streaking like oil and water. That was the last normal moment of my life. When the file finally opened, I expected the cheerful jingle of the Pokémon theme. That childhood anthem burned into all our memories. But what came through my speakers was wrong. The melody was there, buried under layers of distortion, slowed almost to a crawl, like someone dragging fingernails across a vinyl record. Underneath it, I swear I heard whispering. Words too faint to make out, but urgent, almost pleading. The visuals weren't much better. At first, it looked like a normal episode. Ash, Misty, Brock, Pikachu. But their outlines flickered, colors dulled, the animation stuttering as though the footage had been taped over too many times. Ash's smile didn't look like a smile. It looked strained, lips quivering at the edges. Misty's eyes were shadowed, too hollow for a cartoon. And Pikachu. God, Pikachu. Its cheeks sparked, but the sound wasn't the usual cheerful zap. It was a crackling, low and angry, like static from an untuned TV. I leaned closer, trying to convince myself it was just bad quality, maybe a fan-made parody. That's when it happened. For a single frame, less than a heartbeat, the screen cut to a face. Not animated. Real. A child, mouth open in a scream, eyes wide with terror. Then it was gone. Back to Ash waving, as if nothing had happened. My chest tightened. I rewound, trying to pause it, but the frame slipped through like it was fighting me. Every time I hit play, the image looked different. Sometimes older, sometimes younger, always screaming. I told myself it was an editing trick, some creep with too much time on their hands. But deep down I knew. This wasn't parody. This was something else. I should have turned it off. I really should have. But then the kids started dying. At first, it was subtle. A character in the background slumped over, motionless. A trainer's eyes half-lidded, as if they hadn't slept in days. The camera, if you can even call it that in animation, lingered too long on their faces, pale and waxy, their smiles fading into grimaces. Then, without warning, one of the children collapsed. No scream, no explanation, Just a dull thud as the Pokeball slipped from their hand and rolled into the dirt. I froze. The others didn't react. Ash kept walking. Misty kept talking, as though nothing had happened. But the boy on the ground, his eyes flickered open for a second, staring straight at me. I swear his lips formed words, soundless but deliberate. Help me. The background began to change after that. The cheerful forests and bright skies dissolved into gray wastelands, trees stripped bare, the sun nothing but a dim blotch behind clouds. Strange symbols appeared etched into rocks and walls, black, jagged characters that didn't look like Japanese or any language I'd seen. They pulsed faintly, like warnings beating in rhythm with my own heart. Then the Pokémon turned. Pikachu's sparks grew louder, shrill, almost painful in my ears. Misty's Psyduck staggered, eyes bloodshot, feathers patchy. Even Brock's Onyx, usually a harmless comic relief, loomed overhead with a shadow that swallowed the frame. I felt sick, dizzy, as though the cartoon was draining something from me. My hand hovered over the keyboard, ready to close it all down, but the screen flickered. For half a second, it wasn't animation anymore. It was static, then darkness, then my reflection, pale and sweating in the glow of the monitor. And then, from the speakers, faint and clear, "We're still here." That's when I realized the children in the show weren't just characters. They never left. I thought maybe it was a trick of my mind, some late-night hallucination fueled by too much coffee and nostalgia. But then the characters looked up, not at each other, not at their surroundings, at me. Their movements slowed, eyes glassy and unblinking, heads turning in unison until every single one of them was staring directly through the screen. Ash's mouth opened first, lips moving without sound. Then came the whispers, layered, broken voices crackling through my speakers. My name, or at least something close enough that my stomach dropped. "Come closer," Misty murmured, her voice distorted like a warped tape. Brock followed. "We see you." I stumbled back from the desk, heart hammering, but the episode didn't pause. It couldn't be paused. Every key I pressed, every frantic click, nothing worked. The screen pulsed with a low hum, like static was bleeding into the room itself. Pikachu's face stretched unnaturally, mouth curling into something between a grin and a snarl. Then the pleading started. The children's voices rose, begging me to help, to free them, to turn it off, even though I couldn't. Their cries twisted into screams, then laughter, then threats. My own name echoed again, sharp and clear, cutting through the noise. "You can't leave us." I slammed the laptop shut, gasping for air, convinced that would end it. But the audio kept playing, muffled through the closed screen, voices whispering, chanting, scratching against my sanity. That's when I realized the episode wasn't trapped inside my computer anymore. For the next few days, I couldn't escape it. Even with the laptop powered down, unplugged, shoved into the back of my closet, the sounds followed me. At first, it was faint, the static hiss of a television left on in another room. Then came the whispers, seeping through the walls of my apartment, voices calling my name in the same hollow tones I'd heard that night. Sleep became impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw flickers of the episode. Ash's dead-eyed stare, Misty's trembling smile, the symbols burning like afterimages on the inside of my eyelids. Sometimes, I woke with blood on my pillow from sudden nosebleeds, or found scratches on my arms I couldn't explain. Once, I swore I heard the distorted cry of Pikachu in the alley outside my window. Out of desperation, I went back to the forum, hoping to find answers, maybe someone who had seen what I had. But the thread was gone. Not deleted, gone. No record of it in the archives, no cache, nothing. My inbox, though, had one unread message. No subject line, no sender, just 5 words on the screen: "Finish the episode. Set us free." I never replied. But I know it wasn't a suggestion. It was a command. If you think I'm exaggerating, go ahead, search for it yourself. Late at night, when the forums are quiet and the moderators have gone to sleep, the link shows up again. Different thread, different name, always waiting. And if you're unlucky enough to find it, you'll know the truth. This isn't just a file, or a show, or some forgotten piece of lost media. It's a door, and once you press play, something comes through. So when your screen flickers at midnight, and a window pops open by itself, don't click. Because the episode already knows you're watching.